Chapter 22, The Conclusion, Vampires Among Us. Throughout this book, we have explored the many faces of the vampire. From the charming and successful to the ugly and obnoxious, from the arrogant and grandiose to the shy and ailing, we have seen how these creatures operate in every sphere of life. We have learned that vampires are not created by society, they are born into society. They are freakish forms of nature, devouring all energies that exist in life, particularly the positive energies. We have seen how the successful vampire uses charm and manipulation to draw in their victims, how the arrogant vampire uses self-exaggeration and grandiosity to climb the ladder of success, and how the ugly and obnoxious vampire resorts to crime and violence when their vampiric attacks fail. We have witnessed the vampire's lack of empathy, sympathy, and conscience. We have seen how they lack profundity and self-introspection. We have observed their deluded sense of entitlement and their intense bouts of rage when thwarted. We have learned to recognize the telltale signs, the draining of positive energy, the isolation from friends and family, the constant criticism and fault-finding, the manipulation and control, the lack of genuine emotion, and the ever-present hunger for more. But what can we do with this knowledge? First, we must be vigilant. We must learn to recognize the vampire in our midst. Whether in our workplace, our relationships, or our families, we must be aware of the signs. Second, we must protect ourselves. We must maintain our positive energy and not allow the vampire to drain it from us. We must surround ourselves with supportive friends and family who can help us see clearly. Third, we must have the courage to sever the relationship when necessary. It may be painful, but it is often the only way to escape the vampire's control. Fourth, we must not blame ourselves. The vampire is a master manipulator. They are experts at making their victims feel responsible for their unhappiness. But we must remember, the vampire is a vampire. They cannot change. It is not our fault. The vampire's victims are often left with a sense of shame and embarrassment. They ask themselves, how could I have been so blind? How could I have let this happen to me? But we must not judge ourselves too harshly. Vampires are consummate tricksters. They are experts at hiding their true nature. They present a charming, confident, and caring facade that masks the emptiness within. The victims of vampires often feel like they are losing their minds. They are told they are imagining things, that they are too sensitive, that they are the problem. This is classic gaslighting, a favorite tactic of the vampire. But once we understand the nature of the vampire, once we recognize the signs, we can begin to trust our instincts again. We can begin to rebuild our lives and our self-esteem. In the end, the greatest weapon against the vampire is knowledge. By understanding the vampire's nature, by recognizing their tactics, we can protect ourselves and others from their destructive influence. We can create a world where the vampires are recognized for what they are and where their victims are supported and empowered to break free. We can reclaim our positive energy and use it to build a life of happiness, fulfillment, and connection with those who genuinely care for us. The vampire will always be with us. They are born into society, but we do not have to be their victims. We can choose to see them for what they are, protect ourselves, and live our lives free from their control. Remember, the vampire is a vampire. They cannot change. But we can change how we respond to them. We can choose to walk away. We can choose to reclaim our lives. Be vigilant. Be strong. Be free.